Before the start, I'm not gonna be continuing What If Naruto had the Omnitrix, guys. Yeah, I wanted to do my own What If, but I was finishing up the strip, but I believe I reached far enough where I can give you a couple of episodes and continue writing my own What If, guys. So yeah, I'm not gonna be continuing that, and from the comments and the analytics, I can see that most of you guys don't like it. It kinda knocked out the entire Naruto storyline about Naruto getting Omnitrix, yeah guys. So I'm gonna be leaving up the video till tonight, so you guys can go ahead and check out the fanfiction of your own. The link is in the description. And yeah, I'm gonna be starting my own What If tomorrow, which I'm gonna be giving you, but I'm not gonna be giving a name yet, but trust me, you guys are going to like it. But for now guys, I'm gonna be giving you part 17 of What If Kaguya was Naruto's mother. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also, I'm gonna be giving you a new episode of What If Naruto had multiple people sealed inside of him, and over on Anime King 2, I'm gonna be giving you What If Naruto was a vampire. Yeah, stay in tune for that guys. And I'm also gonna be giving you What If Naruto had the unknown Sharingan. So stay in tune and I hope you guys enjoy each and every episode. So without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails.
So, the last part we left off, Naruto had a day with Mito and Kushina and Minato as they went around Konoha showing Naruto the sights. And Mito told Naruto that she wanted to fight him. Seeing after what she heard from Kushina about Naruto taking on all those bandits to protect his family, she wanted to see if his strength got weaker or anything. She also wanted to test him and make sure that he wasn't lying to Minato. As she rushed at Naruto, but she was beyond surprised when Naruto moved with incredible speed and knocked her away, as she was sent flying into the river. As she realized he wasn't lying, it was then that Kakashi arrived. As he asked Minato, he heard about a stranger Minato escorting around the village. As Minato told Kakashi that this stranger is his father, as Kakashi asked him if he's sure, because people have tried it before. As Minato told him that indeed he was sure. As Kakashi then headed off, Minato then told Naruto about Kakashi and about him, and that he wanted Naruto to talk to Kakashi. Naruto was confused at first, but Minato told him to just tell him about his life and also try to get him to open up to people, or he will have to do the second solution, which is put Kakashi in the envoy to quell his emotions, because right now he's going through so much and his emotions are making it even worse. And with that, Naruto went back to Minato's house, as Kushina was a bit scared that Naruto would disapprove of their being together and all that. As Naruto told Kushina that he is happy that she was there for Minato, and he 100% agree with this. As Minato then told Naruto that him and Kushina are engaged. As Naruto walked off without saying anything, the next morning Naruto told them that he was happy for the both of them being together, as he apologized about that. As Minato wanted to marry Kushina, but seeing that he is very famous for what he did to the Stone Village, and he has a lot of enemies, Naruto told them that he knew a place where they can do it in secret. All Minato will have to do is come there. So with that, they headed off and Naruto started preparations. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch your cosplays and check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. We start this episode with the wedding day. It's time to go, said Minato, as Kushina held his hand, as the both of them just got the signal from Naruto, as the both of them vanished in a yellow flash. As Minato looked around, as he saw his father standing in front of the entrance. Welcome, said Naruto. Minato, Kushina, you're right on time. Where are we? Kushina asked as she moved out of Minato's arms and looked around the barren stone room. Minato couldn't help but wonder the same question. You are in a monastery, high in the mountain of the border of Kumo. This place has been practically abandoned for some time. No one will know that you're here. What do you mean practically? Minato asked. Is there anyone that comes here? As Minato saw Naruto get a sad smile as he responded to his question. No, I've been the only one to come here for some time, he said. as Kushina could immediately hear the sorrow in Naruto's voice, so she decided to change the subject. She then clapped her hands. "So, Naruto, where are we to go?" she said, as Naruto's tone instantly changed after hearing that. "I assume that both of you have your own formal clothes," he asked. As the both of them nodded, "In that case, Minato, you can go and change outside. Kushina, I will wait outside until you're ready." "Why do I have to get changed outside?" asked Minato as he moved outside with Naruto. Once they were outside, Naruto spoke. "So you can finish change and be there when Kushina walked down the aisle," said Naruto. "To get there, walk down this corridor, then turn left, then turn right, then turn right again, and then left, and you will see it," Naruto said. "Okay," Minato nodded. "I guess I understand." As Minato started to walk off, "After the wedding is over, could you tell me why this place?" he said. "You must have a reason why you take us here." As Naruto gave Minato a painful smile, "After the wedding, I don't want to ruin your big day." And with that, Minato headed off as Naruto waited for Kushina. Sometime later, Naruto was sitting there, thinking about Konan, as there was a slight chance that she was taken by some ninja. There was a small possibility, but for right now, he had no idea where she was. She could be anywhere around the elemental nations, but he just hoped that he can find her, and he can introduce Minato to his sister. "Naruto," Kushina said, breaking him out of his thoughts, "I'm done." As she was wearing a pure white kimono that went down to her feet, as her beautiful red hair was flowing down. All in all, she looked like the perfect bride for his son. "You look amazing, Kushina," said Naruto with a smile. As Kushina smiled, "I'm not kidding," Naruto said. "You look like a princess." "Thank you, Naruto," she said. "It means a lot to me to hear you say that." Naruto then saw a look on Kushina's face. "Kushina, what's wrong?" "Oh, nothing," she said. "What's wrong, Kushina?" he asked. Nothing," she said. "No, something is wrong," he said, hoping that he could break through whatever Kushina was hiding. "We are going to be family after this. You can tell me anything," he said. As Kushina sighed, "Remember when I tell you I want a wedding ceremony?" she said. As Naruto remembered, he nodded. "Oh, I understand," he said. "You want your dad here to walk you down the aisle, don't you?" As Kushina slowly nodded. "Kushina, if you had said that you want your dad here," but Kushina cut him off before he could finish. "That is just partly it," she said. "My dad died a long time ago. And yeah, I'm sad about that he won't be here to walk me down the aisle. But at the beginning of the Third Great Ninja War, my mom was a leader of Uzo. She sent me here to Konoha to keep me safe. She sent me there as a young girl when I knew no one. I was 13 and she took me away and dumped me into some place I've never been before. The fact that I was teased every day for my red hair did not help. You see, I idolized my mom growing up. How could I not? She was a leader of the village. But she ripped me away from everyone and sent me here. I cried and I begged and I pleaded for her to take me back. But nothing. I even tell her how much things I went through, how they teased me about my hair and I wanted to come home. But she sent nothing back." Kushina lowered her head, as she didn't say anything more after that. As Naruto spoke, "You resent your mom for splitting up your family and sending you away. But now you wish that she was here for your wedding, don't you?" To smile as you walked down the aisle. "Yes," Kushina said. "Well, it is too late for her to come here, but it's not too late for her to be a part of your life. Talk to her, reconnect with her. What you're holding on to happened a long time ago. You must move past it if you're ever going to look your mom in the eye again." "Do you think it will work?" she asked. "Only if you try," said Naruto. "You're right," she said. "Thank you, Naruto," she said, with a smile on her face. "I needed that." "It's fine," Naruto said, "but I believe we have a wedding to go to." "Yes, we do," said Naruto. And with that, they headed off. Time skip. Both Minato and Kushina were facing each other, as Naruto already finished the first path. It was now time for the second path. As he looked at Minato, "Minato Namikaze, do you swear to love Kushina Uzumaki for the rest of your mortal life and beyond? Do you swear to support her, to nurture her when she can't? To be there for her for the rest of her days?" "Yes," said Minato. "Kushina Uzumaki, do you swear to love Minato Namikaze for the rest of your mortal life and beyond? Do you swear to support him, to nurture him when he can't, to be there for him for the rest of your days? Yes, I do, said Kushina. Then, with these words of your oath, I pronounce the both of you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride, and with that the both of them share a passionate and lovely kiss. As Naruto watched him with a smile, as it brought him nothing but immense joy to see the both of them happy, as he wished they will be happy for the rest of their days. Time skip. For the rest of time there, Naruto show Minato the grave of his mother and even Haguruma and Kaguya. Seeing that those names weren't really common and the legend of his brother weren't really known in this era, many people think that it was a myth. They then had cake, as Kushina and Minato was surprised as Naruto had a giant cake with 2 figurines on it as the both of them were holding hand. They just then enjoyed the rest of the day, the newly married couple and Naruto. Later that day, they returned to Konoha as everything seemed normal. Those who should know will be told over the next week, and each of them would offer their congratulations. Kakashi Hatake was one of those people, as Minato trusts him greatly. Kakashi was also grateful to Naruto, as he gave Minato and Kushina their wedding, instead of selling the information to the Hidden Stone village. Now we have a time skip to a month later, as Kakashi was heading to the Memorial Stone. As he was slowly walking through the streets, he was just going to visit for a bit, about a couple of hours. He then heard a voice, "Ah, Kakashi, I was looking for you." As he turned, "Naruto-san," said Kakashi. As Naruto walked up to him, "You know," said Kakashi, "you could just call me Kakashi, like everyone else in the village." "The same go for you," said Naruto. "Sure, Naruto, so why were you looking for me?" Kakashi asked. "You're going to visit your friend's grave," Naruto said. "So, Minato-sensei told you," said Kakashi. "Yes, he told me about how he and a lot of people are worried about you. He wants me to talk to you, believe that I can help you, but I don't know why." "Well, if that's all," said Kakashi as he turned around, but a hand then was rested on his shoulder. "Actually, I was going to ask if I can come with you." As Kakashi looked at him, most people, when they try to help, they will try to steer him away from the Memorial Stone, but Naruto wanted to come with him. "If you want," Kakashi said, "you can come." "Thank you," said Naruto. Without another word, Kakashi headed off, as Naruto followed behind him. As Kakashi moved through the crowd, he wondered what kind of angle would Naruto play, but it doesn't matter, it will fail. Everyone already tried, Guy, Asuma, Kurenai, all of them, and they all failed. After a few minutes, the both of them finally arrived. As soon as they entered the clearing, Kakashi walked up to the Memorial Stone as he stopped in front of it. As Naruto then approached him, as Kakashi waited, but Naruto said nothing. As the both of them stood there for at least 20 minutes. As it then turned to 40 minutes, then an hour. As the both of them remained silent, the hour turned into 2 and then turned into 3. As Kakashi finally spoke, "What do you want, Naruto?" he said. As Naruto looked at him, "What do you mean, Kakashi?" "I mean, why are you still here? You could have left after the first or second hour, but you stay here for 3. That is something I do when I feel really guilty. So I will ask again, what do you want? And what makes you think I don't feel guilty today, Kakashi?" Naruto asked. When Kakashi didn't answer, Naruto continued. "You forget, Kakashi, like you, I too have lost someone. Where you lost your teammate, I lost my wife. And I will forever hold that as my biggest failure. And I believe you will do the same with your comrades. I know that it seems like you can't move on. That's because I can't," Kakashi interrupted. "I cannot move on because everything reminds me of them. I see Obito at the training ground. I see Ren at the academy. I see them both on the street, but when I get close enough, none of them are there." As Kakashi was now yelling, "None of my friends know what I'm going through. They tell me to get over it, but I can't. Minato-sensei doesn't either. As much as he would like to do so, they didn't die in front of him. You don't know," but Naruto cut him off. "I wouldn't finish that sentence if I were you. If anyone know what you're going through, it's me, Naruto said. As he turned and looked directly at Kakashi, you're acting like a child, throwing a tantrum for attention. You're not the only one in the world that has lost someone. You forget, Kakashi, that for almost 2 decades, I thought that my son was dead, along with everyone else. For almost 2 decades, I wallowed in grief, surviving. I was not living, I wouldn't call that living. Every day I will go through the same thing over and over again. I would see Minato, Minami, and Konan, all of them. But when I get close enough, they all would vanish because they weren't there. It wasn't real. I live with the knowledge that I was the reason my family died because I wasn't strong enough to protect them. It was only when I got Minato back and I was telling him about his mother that I realized my wife wouldn't have wanted a life for me. She wouldn't have wanted that grief to consume me. She would have wanted me to live on. Perhaps if I had did that, I wouldn't have waited so long to reunited with my son. Perhaps my troubles may have taken me to Konoha, where I would have seen that little blonde boy and recognized him as my son. But I didn't. I stayed wallow in my grief. I was going through so much, I didn't even care about the rest of the world. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, Kakashi? Naruto asked. Kakashi was silent for several minutes, thinking over Naruto's words and what he had seen. Kakashi saw Naruto's eyes. When he got angry, his eyes were pulsating with another color. Normal eyes didn't do that unless you have a dojutsu. Naruto didn't come from a ninja clan. Kakashi may not be a good sensor nin, but he could tell Naruto has as much chakra as a genin. As he was sure it wasn't the light, but he wasn't going to lift up his headband to take a look. That would be breaking the promise he made to Minato, as Minato told him that Naruto will tell him everything soon enough. Seeing that Kakashi had asked Minato about Naruto and how did he learn those fighting styles, and Minato just said that his father will tell him soon enough and to not worry about it. As about what Naruto said, he never told Kakashi to actually move on, but the way he spoke, he was implying that the words from the others were different from Naruto's. As Kakashi finally spoke, "No, I don't understand. What are you trying to say?" "I am saying you need to do what Rain and Obito would want you to do. Would they want you to stay here mourning over them, or to make sure that something like this never happens again? You don't have to forget about them, Kakashi, but you must forgive yourself. You're just insulting their memory by doing this. And being all alone, do you think that they would ever want you to suffer? They were your friends after all. They would have wanted you to live a peaceful and happy life. Don't waste away yourself, Kakashi. But it's up to you, Kakashi, to choose what you want to do with your life. Just remember, you will never be alone." As Naruto then turned and walked away, as Kakashi merely gazed at Naruto's back. But Kakashi spoke before Naruto left. "I don't know what to do. I am the last of my team. Team 7 is disbanded. Minato Sensei is Hokage. I cannot go to him with my constant problems." "You're lacking a purpose, Kakashi," Naruto said as he turned around. "Before your team was disbanded, your purpose was clear. Protect your teammates, listen to your sensei, accomplish your mission. That was what you know. But now, you need a new reason to get up in the morning. You need something else to focus on. And you alone can find out what that is," Naruto said as he walked off. A new purpose, Kakashi thought, as he looked up in the sky. As Kakashi spent the rest of the afternoon by himself, just thinking about life and his purpose. After leaving Kakashi, Naruto went to visit Minato and Kushina at the Hokage's office. Seeing that it's been a month since he left the monastery, and Naruto kept his promise. As soon as he came back to the village, he spoke to Kakashi, so now he was going to see them. When he arrived there, he saw someone sitting in a chair in front of Minato. As Naruto looked at the man, as Naruto noticed that Kushina was crying, as the man turned and looked at him. It took a few minutes for Naruto to recognize the person under all of the old age, but it was Hiruzen Sarutobi. As Hiruzen's eyes went wide, but then they returned back to normal. As Naruto was cursing on the inside, he thought that he wouldn't have to interact with anyone that he met while he was at Konoha before. The only thing he did was change his eyes and his hair, and he added on a few wrinkles. He did not change his entire expression, so Hiruzen recognized him. He only prayed that Hiruzen kept his mouth shut until he can talk to him. Minato, Naruto said. What's wrong with Kushina? Ah, Dad, said Minato. Hiruzen then started to choke. As Minato looked at him, Hiruzen, are you okay? Minato asked. Oh yes, yes. As Hiruzen was beyond surprise, he was his father? I just choked on some air as Minato gave him a raised eyebrow as he did not believe it for a second. Dad, Kushina just heard some depressing news. One of her family members just passed away. I'm sorry, Kushina, said Naruto. As she looked up at Naruto, she then buried her head back in Minato's shoulder. May I ask who it is? Naruto said. It's okay. This is going to be told to everyone tomorrow in announcement. Her name is Mito Uzumaki, the wife of the first Hokage. She was Kushina's aunt. While on the outside, Naruto gave his sympathy as he acted like he didn't know who Mito was, but on the inside he was shocked. Mito was approaching middle age in Uzumaki terms, and she was healthy. Why did she die so young for Uzumaki? However, he couldn't ask how she died. Perhaps he could ask later when Kushina wasn't there. I see, said Naruto. I shall leave for you to comfort Kushina then. I only came here to tell you that I returned to Konoha. I also talked to Kakashi. Thank you, Dad, said Minato. You're welcome, said Naruto, as he walked away. I think I will leave you as well, Minato, Hiruzen said, as he stand up from his seat, as he exit as well. As both Sarutobi and Naruto walk out of the building, side by side, not saying a word to each other. They both continue walking, but instead towards their home, they walk towards the forest. So, how did she die? Naruto asks. She was a Uzumaki. She was supposed to live over 200 years, but she didn't even make it half of that. It was multiple of things. Perhaps the deepest one was a broken heart. She losing Hoshirama, Naruto said. If it was that, then she would have died a little bit after him, not 3 decades after. She didn't just lose Hoshirama, Naruto, said Hiruzen. She also lost her son and grandson, and Tobirama sensei too. As Naruto stopped, I'm sorry, I didn't know, he said, but Hiruzen waved it off. It's okay, you didn't know after all, as both of them then continued walking. So, Minato is your son? Yeah, said Naruto. I presume he doesn't know, said Hiruzen. Yes, and it will stay that way until I decide to tell him, Naruto said, in an aggressive tone. You will have to try better to intimidate me, Naruto. That won't cut it anymore. But I understand what you're trying to say. You will tell him when you're ready. But if I may, I only ask that you don't take your time. Minato will not like it if you keep such a big secret from him. For too long, he will feel like you don't trust him. Naruto turned away, focusing back on the forest. I will tell him when I'm ready, Naruto thought. Now, you say Mito died from multiple of things. What else is there, he asked. As I'm sure you know, being a Uzumaki doesn't prevent someone from sickness, but it does offer resistance against disease. From what Mito let slip over the couple of years, I believe she was fighting some kind of illness, but I don't know what type. Another was because of the extraction of the Kyuubi. Naruto then turned as he looked at Hiruzen. What? He said. Yes, we found out about it 15 years ago, but we kept it classified. When you removed the Kyuubi from Mito, you left some of the chakra behind. Without the Kyuubi to not direct his chakra to attack his host, the chakra started to attack Mito organs. Slowly at first, Mito chakra was also fighting it back. But it got there eventually, but the damage was reduced. What harm it did though? Hiruzen then stopped as he realized he was walking alone, as he saw Naruto's leaning against a tree. Did I really do that? He said. It was the first time you did something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if you made a mistake on the first try. Mito wouldn't want you to hate yourself like this. In fact, I think Mito may have liked it this way. Naruto's eyes snapped over to Hiruzen as he was confused. You see, Mito has lost most of her family. Her grandson, her son, her husband had died in war. She hadn't been to Uzu in years, and Tsunade had grown up. All that was left was Kushina. And then Kushina was placed in Minato's safe hands. So instead to wait for another century to see them again. Your mistake actually made her happy. so she could see Hoshirama and everyone again. I was there when Kushina announced that she was married. It was like a weight was taken off of Mito's shoulder. And I saw it. She was holding everything together for her. When Kushina had now moved on, Mito was able to let go without regrets. Wherever she is right now, I hope she's happy, said Naruto. I believe she is, said Hiruzen. Now, said Hiruzen, I was wondering, would you like an update on your former pupils? As Naruto groaned as he could feel Jiraiya had done something stupid. Meanwhile, in a dark cave, far away from Konoha, two figures stood in front of a statue with multiple eyes. One of the figures was a plant-like man, half of his body white, half of it black. The other figure was in a robe with a mask, with only his right eye visible, with the three totem Sharingan, showing that he was a Uchiha. We have to alter our plan slightly, the creature with the fly-trap head said. There were several things that Madara did not tell you because he thought it was unnecessary. But we have found evidence that it is. So the plans must be changed. Why? The man in the mask asks. What could be so important for us to change the plans? The elemental sage, the plant man said, as the black half had a scowl on his face. What could he do? He must be at least 80 now. What threat could he pose? Well, the thing is, he does not age, and he's currently occupying a home in Konoha. And the thing is, you don't have the power to face him, Obito, said the plant figure. My name is Madara Uchiha, Zetsu. You will do well to remember it. And I am Madara as well. He won't have his plans fail because of your arrogance, said Zetsu. Then how do you plan to deal with it, Zetsu? Asked Obito. The plans will have to be altered. It will take more time, but we should do our best to avoid the elemental sage. As Obito noticed that the dark half was beyond pissed. You seem to hold some hatred for the elemental sage, Zetsu. Here to share? Obito asked. No, said Zetsu. Just no. He's a big threat to our plan. With that, Zetsu turned and left. Well, Zetsu, Obito thought. It appears that there is more to you than I first thought. Time skip. Naruto didn't know how time passed so quickly. It had already been 9 months. He had also met his 3 former students, but none of them seemed to recognize him. But he saw Tsunade looked at him with a curious glance, but she shrugged and then walked off. As he was sweating when she had focus on his face, because he knew she didn't have the kind of hold him back like Sarutobi, she would have screamed out his name then and there. As Naruto also found out about their title, the Sanins. But he found it stupid. They lost against one man and he gave them that title. Weren't people to get titles after they beat someone, not losing? Jiraiya was still a pervert, only a super pervert now, as he was writing a stupid book called the Ichi Ichi series. But Naruto found one of his books that he wrote before that. A tale of the gutsy shinobi that Naruto really enjoyed after reading it. It reminded him of Hagoromo when he read it. And also, the main character was called Naruto. Jiraiya had also started a spy network to root out any conspiracy against Konoha from the rest of the elemental nations. And his ultimate goal for the network is for it to find the elemental sage. Naruto could almost wish that he could just tell Jiraiya that he was right in front of him. He wanted to see his reaction. Orochimaru has also changed a lot, experimenting a lot with chakra and animals, with different ways to use chakra and testing to see if it was possible for non-bloodline users to combine chakra nature. Naruto also saw a bit of anger in Orochimaru's eyes when he was introduced as Minato's father, and he saw Sarutobi looking at Orochimaru curiously. Was something there? He also saw the look in Orochimaru's eyes when he looked at Konoha. It was like a child who didn't want a toy anymore, like he was disinterested and just wanted to crumble it up and throw it away. He has also taken on an apprentice, a girl called Anko, who Orochimaru said had a great potential that shouldn't be wasted. But overall, he gave off a bad vibes to Naruto. Tsunade had grown up to be a medic, and also one of the strongest women in the world, and if Hiruzen's words are right, the best medic. Naruto was so proud of his little goddaughter, but he managed to keep the pride off of his face. She was also incredible in Jutsu, having created a seal that could store part of her chakra and it could be flown back into her system to heal her wounds. Tsunade has also taken the apprentice of a past lover. It was his niece. If Naruto remember correctly, his name was Dawn, something like that. And Tsunade has taken the girl Shizune and trained her in her medical ninja ways. Tsunade also wanted to leave Konoha as her brother Nawaki and Dan had died in the war. But it was only because of her mother, Miki. That is the reason why Tsunade never left the village completely. Kakashi was eventually sent in the Envu program, as much as Minato wished he didn't. It was eventually agreed upon one day that Kakashi will retire and return to the Shinobi Corps. But right now, that was what he needed, purpose, and a place that he could own his skill. Mikoto, that black-haired Uchiha that Naruto had met, she has given birth to a child. Her second child, his name was Sasuke Uchiha. Her first child was called Itachi Uchiha. Kushina still haven't left to see her mother and brother, but she was sending a couple of letters that ended in a positive note, as her mother sent letters for her to come back to Uzu, but Kushina declined them. However, the most exciting news was that Kushina was pregnant. That is why she didn't left. Naruto was ecstatic when he heard the news, as he never get to interact with his first grandchildren, but now he can. As Naruto was now in an apartment that he had bought with the money he had sealed up in the storage seal on his arm, but Naruto could just tell that something bad was going to happen tomorrow. Something strange, he didn't know why, but he had a gut feeling. Tomorrow was October the 10th. The next day, the day had begun normally. Naruto woke up as he had his breakfast, as he then took a walk around Konoha. As Naruto decided to go and check on Kushina, as he was going to her apartment. As when he was going there, he saw a peculiar sight. He saw Baiwaka Saratobi. It was Saratobi's wife, along with a cloaked woman with a huge stomach. As Naruto sends a few envoys following them as they walk down the street. The cloaked figure was obviously Kushina, the strand of hair and the belly giving her away. As Naruto walked up, Kushina, he called out when he was close enough. What's going on? Where are you going? Don't be so loud. Don't call out her name in the open like that. I'm trying to make this as quiet as possible. You never know who's listening. There is no one here, Naruto told the woman, amused at her paranoia. Baiwaka huff. Just because you can't see and hear them, that doesn't mean there aren't any. Come on, we must move quickly. Less time in the open means less vulnerability. Calm down, said Kushina. I'm sure that my baby isn't going to come that quickly. Where are you going, Kushina? Naruto asks. I was visited by a medic named this morning, Naruto. They say that the child is almost ready to be born. Kushina is being moved to a secure location where she can give birth, Baiwaka said. So, Kushina, have you decided on a name yet? Naruto asks. As Kushina sighed, no, she said. I haven't thought of anything, and I want to have a name for my baby when they're born. You can talk about names later, said Baiwaka. But we must keep moving. We have spent too long here. As Naruto nodded, good luck, he said. Do you mind if I wait in your apartment till you return? Naruto asked. Sure, said Kushina. Let yourself in. You have the key, right? As Naruto nodded, as Kushina and Baiwaka then headed off with the envoys on the rooftop. As Naruto looked around, he felt something in the earth. Every time he spoke, he felt a flare of chakra. Something was there watching him. As he pushed his chakra into the earth, trying to figure out what is in there. As soon as the pulse of chakra touched the bean, it fled farther into the earth. As Naruto already got a mental picture though. It was definitely odd. It had some kind of Venus fly trap that came around his head. But Naruto was sure that Minato could take care of anything. He was one of the strongest people in this village. He was just going to stay here and welcome his grandchild when they come. Several hours later, Naruto was sitting on the couch as his eyes then snapped open as he could sense Kurama Chakra coming close to the village. As he didn't understand, Kurama was never there before and he just appeared from nothingness. It was like he wasn't here one moment and then he was here the next. As Naruto felt Kurama coming closer to the village, as he then heard screams. As Naruto was going to the door, but a flash of yellow made him pause. As Naruto noticed Minato, he was looking quite frantic and afraid, with a bundle in his arms. As Minato looked around the apartment until his gaze fell on Naruto, as he then calmed down a bit. "Dad," Minato said as he sounded quite relieved to see him. "Minato, what's going on?" Minato quickly gave Naruto the bundle. "No time, just hold him, I'll be right back." "Hold him?" said Naruto as he looked down at the bundle. As he quickly looked back up, he saw Minato vanish in a flash. As Naruto felt something in his hand start to move, as he moved the blanket, as he saw a baby. As Naruto stared at the small baby with his blonde hair, the baby then started to cry as Naruto was staring at him. Naruto cradled the baby in a more comfortable position as he sat back down, waiting for Minato. Without a doubt, this was Naruto's grandson. As Naruto started to rock the baby to get him to stop crying. "Hey, baby," Naruto said, as he released a small flame that turned into a dragon and started to dance in the air and switch colors. The baby then started to giggle as he looked up at all the colors with a smile on his face. About 5 minutes later, Minato arrived back with Kushina in his arms as she seemed barely conscious, and Minato also had some burns all over his cloak and dirt as well. "In the bedroom," said Minato as he went over with Kushina as Naruto followed behind him. As Minato placed Kushina in the bed as she was sweating, most likely from a long labor. "Minato," said Kushina, "where is he? Where is he?" she asked. "He's here," said Naruto, knowing that she was talking about the baby. As Naruto placed him down on the bed as well, as Kushina placed her hand on his cheek. "My beautiful son," she said, as Naruto went to the window as he saw Kurama attacking the village. As Naruto knew that Kurama would come here for revenge, because it would be a good chance that he would be sealed again, and he wouldn't try that, and he wouldn't risk that. "Minato, what are you going to do?" Naruto asked. As Minato didn't answer. "Don't tell me you're going to try and fight the Kyuubi," Naruto said. "It's the strongest of the Bijou. The fact that it didn't already level Konoha is quite a miracle. And what would you have me do, Dad?" Minato said in an angry tone. "Leave everyone here? The civilians, the shinobi. You would have me leave all of them while I run? I am the Hokage, the leader of this village. It's my duty, my responsibility to fight, even if it may cause my death." "What can you do, Minato? You can't fight something like the Kyuubi on equal ground. It will destroy you in an instant. No one will think any less of you if you order an evacuation instead of fighting. No, this isn't a random attack. The Kyuubi is being controlled by someone and made to attack Konoha. Even if I order an evacuation of the village, the masked man, the one controlling the Nine Tails, would order it to follow us as we flee." "We can't run," said Minato. Several things run through Naruto's head. Who was controlling Kurama? How could they do it? Were they Uchiha, like Madara? As what he did at the Valley of the End back then. Was this the doing of the presence that he sensed in the ground a couple of hours ago? "Dad, I have a way to defeat the Kyuubi," said Minato. "When this is all over." "Minato," Naruto said, "what are you planning? Tell me this instant." "I will seal the Kyuubi in a vessel," said Minato. "A vessel?" said Naruto. "What kind of vessel are you talking about?" asked Naruto in an angry tone. "The baby." "No, no, no," said Naruto. "You will not seal the Kyuubi in your newborn son. I forbid you. I think I'm a bit too old for you to forbid me from doing things. Either way, you cannot stop me. Once I prepare What, a seal?" said Naruto. Mito Uzumaki was able to seal the Kyuubi because it was weakened by Hoshirama Senju Mokitan, and even then, it still wasn't complete, Naruto said as he moved forward, as Minato stepped back, as he was surprised how did his father know that. "There is no way you can do this, and you haven't prepared any seal yet, and you have no way in weakening the Kyuubi. To properly seal the Kyuubi will require a very powerful technique, and I only know a few of them that you can use right now. So tell me, Minato, what seal do you plan to use?" How? Minato asked, as his father has just given him information about several S-rank matters. "What seal?" Naruto said. "The dead demon consumed seal," said Minato. "Dad, how did you?" "No," said Naruto. "No questions," as he was angry. "You don't get to put your duty before your family and think you can ask questions." You're meant to jump in front of technique for Kushina, not for the village. Full of people that you don't really know their names. As Minato was startled at first, but he snapped back. You also don't get to hide things from me and tell me what I can't do or say. You keep things from me too, Minato, Naruto said, as the both of them start to argue. Not about my life, I don't, said Minato. You lived here for almost 9 months. You have plenty of time to trust me with anything, but still, you haven't. Once again, Naruto looked away. You haven't held a proper conversation with anyone other than myself, Kushina, or Sarutobi. And most of the time Hiruzen have to go to you if you want to speak to you. You haven't made any attempt to talk to anyone else in the village. That is why you don't understand why I'm willing to sacrifice myself. You don't understand my sacrifice. You see, this village is like my family. I would do anything to protect it all. You don't understand, Naruto, said Minato, as Naruto was taken aback by hearing his son call him that. He always said dad. An explosion from outside caught Minato's attention as he cursed. Damn it, I've wasted enough time. Do you have to, said Kushina, as Minato turned to see Kushina with the baby in her arms. Isn't there other way? She said. No, I'm sorry, said Minato. I'm going with you, she said. I will flash us to my office. As she then went over to Minato, as he held on to her. As Minato looked at Naruto, sorry, I had to end it like this, Dad. Look after the both of them, he said, and with that he vanished with the two of them. As Naruto was thinking about the day Minami died, he was holding back because of his identity. Seeing that he wanted to live a normal life with Minami, he didn't use his true power. He could have wiped those ninjas off the face of the earth without even trying, but he was holding back, fighting like a regular ninja when he could just destroy them all with a pulsating chakra blast. And that is what made his family split up. That is what made him cannot find his daughter right now. Meanwhile, outside, the Sanins were helping with the Battle of the Kyuubi and also helping the civilians. As Sarutobi was also there, the combination of all of them was able to push back the Kyuubi so it didn't enter the village and kill more people. After getting pushed back, the Biju started to build a Biju bomb. As all of them stood there as they could feel the intense, raw power coming from it. But before it could release, something appeared in a white flash and slammed his feet under the Kyuubi's chin as the mouth was turned upwards as the bomb exploded in the air. As they then saw the Kyuubi was sent flying, as all of their eyes went wide. What the hell could have such power to push back the Kyuubi like it was nothing? But guys, me ends the episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, I already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notifications they posted. Remember to share all of your friends on your social media platform. But I'm all for now, guys. Peace.